All right. The tiger is the month of February. The tiger only has one star this year. And I talked about earlier the travel animals. There's 4 travel animals in the Chinese Zodiac, and they are the snakes, the monkeys, tigers, and pigs. Does anybody have travel animals in their charts? Yeah, lots of you. Okay. So that means you should travel. That means that it's good for your body to move. And if you don't travel, and that means either moving your body, traveling to other places, but they all are travel animals. But the tiger, who has a tiger in their chart? Okay, great. So the tigers, and whether you say, no, I have no plans for travel this year, you are going to be traveling. And if you don't, if you go, nope, I'm going to stick to if you don't, this is where problems will arise. When the astrology is saying do something and you refute it, that's when the problems will arise. Remember I said if you focus on the good will come. If you focus on the bad, sure shooting, that's what you're going to get. So I highly recommend tigers to travel this year. And that doesn't mean you have to be traveling constantly, but kind of have like maybe weekend jaunts. And if you really honestly can't, because of finances or whatever, hopefully just get in your car and get out of your house and take a day trip and come back. If you get confused, if you get stuck, angry, you can't figure out why somebody is doing whatever they're doing, get into movement, and that will help release this stagnant energy that is in your chart. Now, the good thing about tigers is if you have a tiger in your chart, you have a tremendous opportunity to have international trade. So let's face it, if you have a website that is somewhat current, that it could be found, you have an international business, right? World Wide Web. So this may be a year that you want to make sure that your website, all the links work and all of that, because this is another way for you to travel and cross borders this way. So this also may be a year where you decide or have an opportunity, because like, I don't know, you may go, oh, I'm going to go to Thailand this year for a yoga retreat. And it's like, I really like this vibe. And you may end up moving to Thailand or something. So this may be a year where you could either live abroad for a year or for a while, but this is a year where travel will be a very important thing for you to do. The other thing that I suggest for snakes especially, tigers especially, is the last thing you want to do is put in let's say you're in an airport or sitting next to somebody, put on your noise canceling headset, which I actually kind of do, look at your phone, your iPad or whatever, and spend 8 hours. That's like you're not communicating with anyone. At least make an effort to say hello to your plane mate or whatever that you're sitting next to, or maybe you're, sitting, the 2-hour TSA thing, whatever, you're sitting in the holding area before you board. Pick up a conversation with somebody. You never know who you will meet or who they know. So you have to make a little bit of effort here. It seems like, okay, it's only one star, but it's a great one. So expand your horizons and you will do fine, okay? All right, now, again, let's not focus on this, but this is a potential, if you don't heed my good advice, is that you may feel a little bit distant from people because you've chosen to close down instead of open up. And so this is something that I really hope that you will, take into stride, because you're going to feel a little bit isolated and lonely because you are not connecting with people. You're actually pushing them away. Okay? All right, so wealth capacity is actually good for the tigers this year. It's going to be easier to expand, especially beyond like your community that you are currently serving. So you want to think about, okay, I can actually expand my networks and marketing a little bit further than you had anticipated earlier. So that's good. And think about multiple streams of income. So you may have something else that you can leverage. So what have you been working so hard for over the years? Just kind of like do a little self-reflection there and go, I've got this kind of been sitting on the shelf, or, you know, an idea. So try to think about how you can help that along as well. Your career efforts are going to be good, but not without effort. It is going to take some effort. Again, remember I told you about getting your systems in place and things like that. That would be very smart for you to do, and really be attention to some deep details. So it's the carpenter rule of measure twice, cut once, so you don't have to redo stuff. So get your systems in place, get your team's systems in place, and that's going to be good. So relationships this year are going to be a little bit flat, but if you travel, that actually can bring out this bit of romance in whether you're single or you're dating, is single or coupled up. That would be good. The biggest health concern for the tigers this year is actually going to be like the germ warfare that happens on airplanes and public transportation. My personal physician actually said that flying anymore is like mass transit, and it is. They don't, you know, the seats and everything, you know, like what they give you, like a plane of like, 200 plus people, and they take 10 minutes to clean it and then they reboard it. How clean can that be? Come on. So wash your hands like a surgeon, and watch about eating food that like food prep, and like especially if you're going to places. I mean, even though I have gotten, I remember a few years back, my husband and I think it was in a major airport in Europe. I don't want to call anybody out, but I had a bad oyster, and man, oh man, did that take me down for a long time. So it was a very high-end restaurant. So it's not just because it's a 5-star that you're not going to get something. So, watch your parasites and all that kind of stuff. Work with a good professional on that one. So okay. Now let's go to, and then the tiger is always in the month of February. So coming very soon, that tiger energy is going to kick in. So the tigers and pigs are best friends. So last year is the year of the pig, moving into the rat. The year was supporting the tigers. If they used it properly, then it would have helped them along quite a bit. So using a pig, finding a pig friend in the room, or maybe it's internally in your chart. The next one. And then the tiger, dog, and horse. Does anybody have that in their chart? Tiger. Oh, Deborah. Okay. I do too. Tiger, dog, and horse. That's fire. So it doesn't really show that in your chart, but a tiger, dog, and a horse, I have those in my chart as well, that brings the fire up. And remember, fire is not a favorable element this year. It's the weakest element. So we're going to have to do that strategy. Last year, if you'd have came, that's when I said, go like the wind, because that was a very powerful element last year. Well, actually, for quite a few years, fire was on fire. So it was, but this year, we're going to just have to temper our strategies. So this is where we're going to have to kind of look at, the time blazer stuff. So we already have it in our chart for those of us. But, sometimes you're going to need fire just a little bit if you're going to be launching something. It is going to be important for you to get some visibility. So even though it's not favorable, you just have to be strategic on when you launch something. Okay, next. Tigers and monkeys are the ones that kind of have a clash. So kind of, they have a clash. And I have an internal clash in my chart. I have a monkey in my chart as well. So I also have this internal conflict, but this is something that tigers need to watch out about. Okay.
Hello, my name is Dr. Julie Young. I'm a dentist in Corte Madera. I have worked with Kathleen before. She did business feng shui in my office. She came in and she changed the angle of my desk because apparently my wealth was going right out the back door. We moved around some chairs not to block the entryway, and I noticed that everything just flowed a lot better in my office. I would highly recommend her. I think it's a great thing to do for your business. I can't say how it was working before Kathleen. I mean, my office was always fine. I think things were just better afterwards. I love coming here. This is the 4th year that I've come to her event, and she's really at her best today. So I would highly recommend the services of Kathleen Zemansky.